declare this official. I done say you know one thing. In the world, it get weary, it get hateful. But since you my neighbor, I'll be subtle, I'll be patient. Caught in the middle of trying to save you or replace you. The kingdom is within you, that's one place I can't take you. You supposed to serve God, He not supposed to make you. What, cause you was loyal, what, am I supposed to thank you? Oh, cause you gave ties, what, is He supposed to save you? The kingdom is within you, that's one place He can't take you. Locked in, don't covet top 10. Frankincense from Mikael, they just dropped in. 12 tribes of Israel can't be cropped in. The heathen gon' feel His wrath, could think I'm not them. But we still might. He prove you wrong 100 times, you think you still right. You can't cheat your way to heaven, not even in the slightest. You can't war with God, you must think He Leonidas. I'm a vet, no private, see the end, I get excited. I go write it, I pray that I'm invited. Feel His zeal, I get ignited. I'm on autopilot, plain Jane, I don't do idols. This a title, we don't worship titles, we all bridles. In the world, it get weary, it get hateful. But since you my neighbor, I'll be subtle, I'll be patient. Caught in the middle of trying to save you or replace you. The kingdom is within you, that's one place I can't take you. You supposed to serve God, He not supposed to make you. What, cause you was loyal, what, am I supposed to thank you? Oh, cause you gave ties, what, is He supposed to save you? The kingdom is within you, that's one place He can't take you. Locked in, don't covet top 10. Frankincense from Mikael, they just dropped in. 12 tribes of Israel can't be cropped in. The heathen gon' feel His wrath, could think I'm not them. But we still might. He'll expose our darkness, we'll think we still the light. We ain't hit our target, cause we don't love alike. We ain't promised if we don't service people right. I didn't know that arguing was opposite of truth. Fill me with your daily bread, I'm starving for reproof. We make huge deals out of things that's often minute. How do we be long suffering and not be bruised? In the world, it get weary, it get hateful. But since you my neighbor, I'll be subtle, I'll be patient. Caught in the middle of trying to save you or replace you. The kingdom is within you, that's one place I can't take you. You supposed to serve God, He not supposed to make you. What, cause you was loyal, what, am I supposed to thank you? Oh, cause you gave ties, what, is He supposed to save you? The kingdom is within you, that's one place He can't take you.
Would you be happy if you stayed? All right. You know what I mean? The kingdom is within you. You know what I mean? It's just really that simple. You know, and all praises through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Through the spirit. I just want to look at Isaiah chapter 14. What are people saying about Isaiah 14? Let's say I look up at a certain school, maybe. What do people typically say about Isaiah 14? Isaiah 14, let's see. Because the point is that I just to get people take, what do we see? What do people say Isaiah 14 is saying? And then we're going to unpack it and see what it just says actually in the language. Get that understanding. But let's just see what people are saying about it. Now, I haven't seen this video.
Shalom to the hopefully elect out there. as videos came up with Edomites and someone reading out of the book, you can like hear the whole chapter with as a thumbnail of a Bible, maybe open up to the book of Isaiah. And the only video this had to be maybe the fourth or fifth video that came up, which said IUIC. So I said, okay, there's one Israelite group that went through Isaiah chapter 14. So it says, giving the sense from A to Z. Isaiah chapter.
Oh, apparently it's not even a lot of Israelite groups that's going through Isaiah 14. So this is GMS giving a commentary on IUIC, which is cool because now I get to knock two birds out in one stone. I get to see the consensus of what GMS is saying and what IUIC is saying, and then we can see what the Tanakh, which is the prophets, is ultimately saying.
Chapter 14. So I believe he goes through the whole chapter, but this way he opens up at the first verse. Of course, it started at the first verse, obviously, and he goes off. But it's no big deal. It's no big deal because that was taught back at the One West school. So you're going to have a lot of Israelites that's going to go to the first verse, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined unto them. Now the way high priest used to go into this, he went into Isaiah the 14th chapter a bunch of times, and there was controversy with
y'all. Listen to what he said. He said, hey, whatever he's about to furbish right here at this Isaiah 14, whatever IUIC is finna say right here in Isaiah 14:1, he's saying this is what they taught at the original school. So GMS might be conflicting with that. Let's hear that again then. Let's go, bro.
And he goes off, but it's no big deal. It's no big deal because that was taught back at the One West school.
See that? So that was taught. Whatever was taught. It's a rumor. Not even a rumor. It's facts that the original One West school taught Gentile salvation. So things, basically, people switched up some stuff, right? He said it's no big deal. That was taught at the One West school. So whatever IUIC about to bring out in this video, according to GMS, was taught at the original One West school. Note that.
You're going to have a lot of Israelites that's going to go to the first verse, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined unto them. Now the way high priest used to go into this, he went into Isaiah the 14th chapter a bunch of times, and there was controversy with brothers breaking it down the wrong way, so they would call a meeting, and high priest Ariel would go through it, and he would always say, when he came to the strangers in the first verse of Isaiah chapter 14, he would say that's talking about the other nations, the small hats, the Christians.
Y'all hear that? Ariel himself taught that the strangers in verse 1 were actual to other nations. Right? It's a reason. Ariel was obviously in the spirit and he was on the right way. And if One West was truly, which we could see documented, was teaching Gentile salvation, that was actually the truth. One West they have strayed away from that. Let's hear that again.
A meeting, and high priest Ariel would go through it, and he would always say, when he came to the strangers in the first verse of Isaiah chapter 14, he would say that's talking about the other nations, the small hats, the Christians, because they want to be like us. So they're cleaving to what we have, but they're not the people. And then the second verse goes into captivity. And he says, well, that proves it. Well, the strangers in Isaiah.
That's a fact. The people in the second verse are a whole different class of people than the people in the first verse.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1, are in fact Israelites.
See, GMS is saying, no, the people that's cleaving to the Israelites in verse 1 are Israelites. So he's saying the people that's cleaving to the Israelites are Israelites. So the stranger's there. So Isaiah's identifying the Lord having mercy on the house of Israel, which is the house of Jacob. And then there's strangers, I guess according to GMS, that he haven't had mercy on. So they still call strangers by Isaiah, and the Lord is deeming them to be that way. Then they cleave to the house of Jacob. Uh, that's to me erroneous.
The 14 verse 1 are in fact Israelites. So now what you have to do is let me do this. Let me bring this over here. I'm gonna X out some of these when there's gotta understand the whole book. So I'm gonna let you listen. There's fair use, fair use, fair use. This is not necessarily a diss to IUIC on this particular video right here that you see. So let's listen up, listen up, listen up.
All right, do me a favor. Read Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1.
Come on.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right. So we read in the scriptures, you have different instances where Israel is known as a stranger, but that's not the case right here. All right, this is going into the other nations. Right, I'm showing you that. Give me the book of Jeremiah 5:19. Watch this. Give me Jeremiah 5:19. Right there. Read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 5 and verse 19.
Come on.
And it shall come to pass, when ye shall say, Wherefore doth the Lord our God all these things unto us? Then shalt thou answer him, like as ye have forsaken me, and served strange gods in your land.
Right, so that's what we did. We forsook the Most High God, one true God, out of all gods, and started serving these strange gods. Read on.
So shall ye serve strangers in a land that is not yours.
Right, God says we will serve strangers. Who's we? But we is the Israelites. The Israelites will have to serve their enemies because they sin against the Most High God. So I want to show you something. Go back to Isaiah 14:1.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1.
Come on.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel.
But he's going to choose Israel this time. Read.
And set them in their own land.
And set them in their own land. Meaning what? They're not going to be serving in the land of a stranger anymore. They're going to be serving in their own land. Read.
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
Right. How do you think the strangers are going to be joined with them? They're going to be servants. The same way we were servants to them in their land, they're going to be our servants in our land. Let's say the Lord.
Sounds good. If you're not, well studied, it sounds good.
You see that? So GMS and IUIC differ on what's happening in what is this? Isaiah chapter 2, man. They differ. Why? Because a lack of understanding is being held here. One party is understanding, man. If we yield to the fact that these people right here are actual to other nations, they get an equal opportunity in salvation. They get what we get.
Makes sense, but it's that's not the case. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Isaiah. You notice I don't have a Brady Bunch format. I don't need a bunch of guys to help me out. Eat the word and go and teach the sons of Israel. All right, so Isaiah 14.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Elder break it down. I'm real interested to see.
For the Lord, Yahweh, will have mercy on Jacob. This is ultimately what's going to happen. And you got these clowns, these vocab Malone followers that say the part about going into captivity that is talking about we put the Babylonians into captivity because they had us into captivity because this happened during the time of the Babylonian Empire going into the Medieval Persian Empire. So my question to you Christian clowns out there, how are we going to have servants when we're servants under the Medieval Persian Empire? There was an empire that took us over, which is the Babylonians. Then there was another empire, which is the Medieval Persian Empire that took us over. So how are we going to have slaves when we're slaves ourselves? Were the Babylonians are servants under the Medieval Persian Empire, starting from the rulership? And the Israelites, we were also servants under them, just like the Romans. When we were under the Romans, we didn't have servants. We didn't have slaves under us because we were slaves or servants under another empire. So this has nothing to do with ancient Babylon. So it says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. This is getting ready to happen. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. I'm going to pull out some words. I'm going to pull out the word strangers. I'll pull out the word cleave. Let me pull out the word cleave. And the word is sakath. I'm sorry. Sapak. Sapak. To join, attach to, join together. To join, attach to, attach oneself, joining, to be joined together, hold oneself together, to join oneself, to cause a scab upon, smite with scab. If you have a child and you lose him for a minute, you get worried. And the child gets worried too. And when the child sees the mother, the child runs to the mother and cleaves, holds tight, because the child thought he was lost. So he doesn't just hold his mother, the regular way, just holding on to her. He cleaves, he like scratches into her, into her skin. So what this is talking about is we woke up as Israelites, right? Oh, well, I'll say this. This individual right here saw the videos. He probably saw GMS, ISUPK, other videos, and he saw IUIC videos, and he said, I know these guys. These are the guys I got to get with for whatever reason. Maybe the garments, whatever, the rat thing, whatever. There was each brother that gets into one of the camps, Sakari, HODC, whatever, they somehow or another they saw other videos and they said, my spirit kind of leads me to this, right? Give me a second.
So let me see. He's essentially saying that they don't agree with each other. He's also going on a thing to say, somebody probably seen our videos and their videos and kind of maybe remix some stuff, or the spirit just led that brother that UIC.
And they shall.
Well, let's get back into this. Let me let you listen to a little bit more.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Similar to in one of all.
Hold on, did he ever touch back again on that Hebrew? No, he was just gone. Then he came.
Oh, this is a video I want to watch. This guy, Rabbi Yap. I'm gonna watch him. Let me let you listen to a little bit more.
Yeah, because I want to hear the Zaquan explanation on what IUIC is saying. IUIC is saying no strangers or Israelites. The Zaquan is saying no. these strangers right here are Israelites, not so. The IUIC is saying these strangers are the other nations. The elder is saying the strangers are Israelites because he understands what that word sapach means, which I'm gonna get into in a minute. And not only that, the entire verbiage of what we're seeing in Isaiah, and that's gonna be the problem. So that's why you got people saying a few different things. You got some people in Hebrew, some not. Nevertheless, it doesn't even matter because we know righteous people will be able to cleave to the Most High God, right? You got people able, right? You got entire nations of people that was righteous. But we go get into that. I'm going to see what the elder go say about IUIC breakdown, and then we go into the language to see what the word is saying, because the Hebrew the final authority. Remember that the Hebrew, the language, not man, but the word of Yah is the final authority.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Similar to in one of all things, when you read the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, we will go to our enemies in the want of all things. That's how they're going to have to come to us.
Those strangers, like I said, like he chose to get with the IUIC, and he cleaved, past time to cleave, whatever, to the IUIC, and he studied and got the precept package that he studied. He went to the class, he moved up the rank, he became a teacher. So he's basically teaching what he was taught.
So the elder here is saying Isaiah 14, the same way this guy brother right here cleaved to IUIC, and he like a stranger, him know nothing about it. It's the same way what Isaiah is saying. That's what the elder trying to push.
So now let's deal with the word stranger. Come back over here to stranger. We broke down the word cleave. People coming under the men of GMS cleave to us. The ones that came unto us and stayed. And we went on YouTube. The first video was July of something like the last week of July of 2007. So there's guys that started watching us in 2007, 2008. So we're talking 15 years. Almost 15 years. Wait a minute, 7 and 7 is 14, let me see something. Okay, 7, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we're talking 15 years. Some of these brothers been in this thing for 15 years. Some 10, some 14. So Jacob is another, Ya'iqab is another name, is the name that was given to him, and his name was changed by the angel from Ya'iqab, which means to supplant, to Israel, Yasha'Allah. And the angel said, your name is now no longer Ya'iqab, your name is now Yasha'Allah. And the angel breaks it down, just like Gabriel broke it down to Joseph, to say, you will call his name Yahushai, for he so saved his people from their sin. He, Yahushai, delivered his people delivered their people from their sins. So the same goes with Ya'iqab getting the name of Yasha'Allah. He said, your name will be Yasha'Allah, because as a prince, meaning Yah, he, Shah, prince, he, prince, God. He's a prince with God, which is a prince is a son of a king. If you have a son, you call him your son, right? If you are a king on the throne, your son becomes prince. If you have 5 sons, they become prince. And then eventually the first son becomes king. You have a lineup of kings. Okay? So we're a royal people. The name that was given to us, Yasha'Allah, is a royal name. It means he prince with God. He prince God. He prince of God. Choose Israel. Set them in their own land. This is getting ready to happen. The strangers. Now let's look up the word strangers. The word strangers is Gar, or Ha-Gar, which means the stranger, or Hagayam, which means the strangers. H1616. A temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. Let me read that again. It's giving you the definition. There's two types of strangers. There's strangers of the other nations, and there's strangers that are Israelites that left the land and came into the Alexandrian Israelites. They come 2 times out of the year.
Yeah, that's true, but there's no Hebrew created word for that. The word is strangers and strangers. Just really that simple. There's no word anybody created and said, yeah, when these Israelites become strangers, we go say this word. No. But there is a word for people that are not ethnic Israelites, right? That believe in the Lord and the Most High God, and they're called a certain thing as strangers, right? You have a word called Zakar or Zachar, and no, it's Nakhar actually, Slakia. You have the word Nakhar, and you have the word Gar, right? Or Garayim, right? People that's actually cleaving and listening and keeping. Now, I'm gonna let the Zaquan break his thing down, and then I'm gonna do some parsing. This isn't parsing, right? This is just picking and choosing, looking at a word, not looking at the inflected word that's actually being used instead of the root there, which I'll go see that in a second.
3 times out of the year, but it's really like 2. But it's 3 times actually, because it's 3 high holy days. They're considered strangers because they come from Alexandria, Egypt, where they have their businesses and where they dwell at, and they have what's called a pilgrimage to Jerusalem for the Passover, for the Pentecost, for the Feast of Weeks. Because what they do is, when I say 2 times in a year, when they come out for the Passover, they stay for they'll stay for 2 months, about 2 months for the Feast of Weeks, and then they'll go back, and then on the 7th month they go back again for the Tabernacles. So it's actually 2 times of the year, but it's 3 different high holy days.
Oh, and Khan, this is Elder Tahar. No, this is Elder Tahar that's breaking this down.
So, it says stranger, alien, sojourner, stranger, as with H 376, stranger with H 4480, stranger with H 582. I'm going to show you something. A sojourner. I ain't talking about another nation. I just gave you the perfect example of a sojourner. Jews, devout men from every nation under heaven. What is that talking about? Israelites that are sojourners. Pilgrimage, making a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. A sojourner, stranger, foreigner, a person living out of his own a person living out of his own country. That right there is talking about Israelites. That's not living in their own country.
All right, so are Israelites the only people that can live outside their own country? See what I'm saying? So yeah, there's no monopoly on the word stranger. Anybody can be a stranger,
Meaning,
right? But it has certain context and when it's used, and who clearly is a stranger and who isn't.
Jerusalem, Palestine, they're living someplace else. And if they practice, keep the law, statutes, and commandments, they're going to come really 2 times a year, some of them 3 times a year. But it's really 2 times a year for 3 high holy days, because they're practicing Israelites. They keep the law, statutes, and commandments. It says a person living out of his own country. Okay, this occurs 92 times. Start with the first one. Genesis 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed, it ain't talking about Ishmael, it ain't talking about the 6 sons of Keturah, it's talking about Isaac. Shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. That's talking about ancient Egypt. I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight.
You just read a scripture that predated the Israelites. Hold on, wait, was it? Let me see. Is it? No, that's in Exodus. Hold on. No, that's in Genesis. Yeah, that's Genesis. What are you talking about? So that just single-handedly proves, he probably didn't mean to read that. That just single-handedly proves right there that not just Israelites are strangers. This is the same word for stranger. He just said Israelites. But then we just seen it being used elsewhere to non-Israelites.
I'm not going to read all of these, but you can read all of them. Oh, here's another good one. Leviticus 22, verse 18. Speak to Aharon or Aaron, and to his sons, and unto all the sons. The word there is not children, the sons. Bunyam Yasha'ala. And it actually says Bunya, which means son, or my son it could mean, but it should be Bunyam. Bunyam. Bunyam means sons. And say unto them, which are the sons of Israel, whatsoever he be of the house of Yasha'ala, or of strangers in Israel. What does it mean by strangers in Israel? I gave you the perfect example.
That means exactly what it says. Strangers in Israel.
The Israelites of Alexandria coming to the Passover or to the Pentecost, that will offer his oblation for all his vows and for all his free will offerings. Is another nation going to do that? No. Right. It's Israel. This is a law for Israelites that are outside, that are living outside the land.
Listen, man. Before the kingdom split, and you had a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom, you had commandments of God for the whole house of Israel and the other people that cleave to the Israelites. What is this guy talking about?
Oblation for all his vows and for all his free will offerings, which they will offer.
I ain't gonna lie, man. We gave him a chance. Let me see if he goes back to Isaiah. We gave him a chance, man, to do some real Hebrew apologetics and parsing, and he just couldn't do it, man. Let me see something.
Enemy in the land of the Lord.
All right, here we go.
Whose captives they.
Hold on, let's see what he say again. Then we go get him.
I may cut this up into parts. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Yasha'Allah shall possess them. The them is talking about these other nations. Number one on the list are the Edomites. In the land of Yahweh in Israel, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
So we all agree. So this is what we'll say, and what we'll rule out. Everybody agree that these people right here in verse 2 are the other nations, right? What people are conflicted on is verse 1. Verse 1 is talking about the other nations. If it's not talking about the other nations, and that's restoring people in the, that's where it's discombobulating people.
Oh, that we were Israelites that
Hold on, so we just
Northern Kingdom.
Because look at what he's saying.
Have mercy. I may have to break this up. So let's read Isaiah chapter 14 and 1 with understanding. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Yasha'Allah and set them in their own land. That's a northern kingdom, southern kingdom, the kingdom of Judah and kingdom of Yasha'Allah, or Yahweh done Yasha'Allah, and the strangers, the other Israelites, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yasha'Allah, or Yahweh.
So how has the Lord had mercy on the house of Israel, set them up, built them up, and then left out the outcasts? How's that having mercy on the house of Israel if they're strangers and they're cleaving? Right? That's how we know this is a logical fallacy.
So this word strange is talking about Israelites.
The Bible didn't say that.
Technically, since we're not living currently in Palestine, guess what? We're all strangers. We're all strangers that didn't know that we were Israelites, that woke up that we were, to the fact that we were Israelites in a strange land.
So we proselytes, according to him.
So ultimately, the Most High is going to bring us back into the land. That's why it said
that doesn't make sense. If he's had mercy on the house of Jacob, why is the house of Jacob right here, who he had mercy on, who just came out of captivity? Why are they called the house of Jacob and not strangers? Why is there still people in the earth called strangers? That doesn't make sense.
And will yet choose Israel and set them in.
All right, man. Clearly, these guys don't know what's going on. Let's go to the let's look at some things right here. That's just absolutely absurd and crazy, man. Like Lord and Christ. Hold on, I want to get something else too. Let me pull up the blue letter Bible. Let me get that as well. We want to get that. We want to get this on record. We need this on record because we are witnessing some crazy things right here. I'm finna look at these things because I'm trying to see what is it that the elder is talking about. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. Yeshayahu or Yeshaya. Okay, so we're gonna look at this real quick with the spirit of power, Yahweh, because he's saying some things, but he's not making sense. None of what he's saying is making sense. When we examine this, I'm trying to highlight this. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on. Sorry. And the elders tried their best, and this ain't no disrespect to GMS or Elder Tahar, but we just got to be honest with the text. You know, the scriptures say knowledge will increase in the last days, so and the elect has to wake up. So this is what we have going on. So we got Kai Yaham, right? Yaraham. So Kai Yaraham is going into the mercy that the Lord is having. That's compassionate. That's tender affection, right? The tender affection that Yahweh is having is towards all his people. So you got Kai, Yaraham, Yahweh Af, Yaiquab, Wabachar, Awad, right? So when you get into what Yahweh is doing there, he's having literally mercy on the house of Jacob, and he's choosing right here. So let me get this right here. This is what he choosing. He choosing literally the chosen, the elect. It said Bachar when you deal with Bachar, right? Bachar is going into the chosen, the elect, the decided. It says to be chosen, selected, right? Bachar, Bachar. So this chosen right here that's happening with the Most High, and he in the yet again, because we see it, this is again happening, right? Which is a wide, right? So Wabachar in choosing a wide Ba, which is in. Where is he choosing? And yet again, where's this happening in? Israel. So if this is yet again happening in Israel, how in the world could the strangers, right? How could the strangers uh, on earth be the Israelites? If he's yet again, which is doubling down, which is reaffirming. This is a reaffirming notion, right? Even in the Hebrew stem here, is letting us know that this is dealing with all the house of the Israelites. Period, point blank. Because the chosen and the cognitive is happening here, right here. This is where it's happening. Kai Yaracham Yahweh Af Yaiquab Wabachar Awad by Yasharah. Right. That's where that's happening at. You need to understand that. Hold on, let me get something real quick. All right, let's see it. We'll see the same thing here. Uh, you have Kai Yahweh, uh, Racham, Yaracham right here. Actually, the root is Racham, but you got Yaracham, which is the will, which is something an imperfect statement, something that he will do to who? The house of Yaiquab, right? And then you have Bachar, right? Or Wabachar, which is in will. You have Wabachars right here. And then you have Bachar, right? Then you have a wide, right? So hold on, let me get into that real quick. What did I want to get into? You can even see that here for the mercy part that I brought out. I guarantee you, you see the same thing. To love, to have mercy, to be compassionate, have tender affection, right? This is what the Lord is doing with the house of Israel. How we know the strangers for that nature isn't the Israelites. And we're going to keep going and getting that real quick. Let me go back to Microsoft. All right. This is all, to me, this is simple, right? This is all being made clear to me. If this makes sense to y'all, please put a 1 in the chat if it makes sense to you so far. So you got Wahan Yacham, right? Which is going to settle them, right? So the Lord is settling the Israelites, right? He's settling the Israelites where? You have all Adam Thumb, right? Wahan Yacham, all Adam Thumb, right? So that's literally where they being settled in their land, right? This is a form of rest that they're having, right? I mean, literally to settle down, right? To be placed, obtained rest. So there's no way if we got Ka Yaracham Yahweh Af Yaikwa Wabachar Awad Ba Yasharal Wahan Yacham all Adam Thumb, there's no way impossible that when we continue to read that these people are Israelites, right? Because we see the cognitive rest that's being held, right, already with the house of Israel before we get where, right? Before we get in it, the joining, right? So we have what? Wa, right? Which is and, right? And we have the placement of that, which is the new or the nah, right? This let us know what type of binding this is happening. This is a free will choice of binding. And nothing about slavery is happening here. This is why the elder from GMS lied or misspoke, because I want to make this a slight, and said that these strangers right here were Israelites, because even in the Hebrew, there's no language of bondage going on here in these verses at all. There's no stretch in no form of the imagination, right? So IUIC is going off when they say that these strangers are going into bondage, because we don't see that in the Hebrew. We don't see that in the text, right? We see Wanalwa, right? Wanalwa is literally, it's like it. Wanalwa is literally going into like being joined and attached, right? What's attached, man? To be joined and attached is a big deal. No heathen can do this, right? That's just impossible. No heathen can take hold of that. So you got Wahan Yacham al Wahan Yacham al Adam Thumb, right? Wanalwa. It's like, yeah, Wanalwa Ha'agar, right? Hagara. So like, yeah, Hagara all Yaham, right? So which is what? So what's happening? And joining what? What's joining? The stranger, right? I'm busy right now. Upon them, man. So you see, that's what we see right now. We see literally the stranger being joined upon them. So you got the stranger right here, right? A whole separation from what we see in line 1, right? Being joined, right? Hagar al Yaham, right? Wanasagahawa, right? So like this word is literally going into the joining that's happening in with the house of Israel, right? The joining together, the assembling, if for other words, was establishing that joining through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And the root, I believe, is right here, right? Because like I said, you have and then you got this new or the na, which is showing you how and what type of joining this is, right? And this is a free will type of joining that's happening to the house of Israel, right? So you got wa, right? Then you got nasagahawa, right? Or nasagah, right? Nasagah. You got that ha and you got the wa. Nasagah. And then you got al, which is what? Upon or on. What is the strangers joining on to, plainly in this text? Upon what? So you got al bayath yaquab, the house of Israel. That's what they joining on to. Right? Kai Yaracham Yasharal Av Yaquab Wabachar Awad Ba Yasharal Wahan Yacham Al Adam Thumb Wanalwa Hagar Al Yaham Wanasa Gachwal Al Bayath Yaquab. There's no way in this, in no stretch form of the imagination, that these people right here that we see are Israelites. That's literally just impossible. Nothing is showing that in any of this verbiage through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We don't see that. What we do see in things like this, like when we deal even like with Wanalwa. Let me show you what we see. We see a continuation, right? A clause continuation, right? The new right here show us the state, all right? Right? It show us the marker, right? This show us what? The direction, right? Shepherd, in a sense, right? This shows us what's binding or joining, right? As in foot, right? And we know this shows us the condition, right? A revealed condition of what's been established, right? And anybody that's studying Hebrew actually knows that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Now let's get down to line 2. Right? Line 2 is very important, right? Because in line 2, we see a whole entire different syntax class system just in terms of the cognitive here, right? And the grammar rules and what's carrying, right? Based upon based upon what's being enslaved and what isn't being enslaved, right? So let me get that real quick. Hold on, should I show that? Let's see, real quick. I mean, we went into these. I don't think it was anything that I needed to show here that I didn't show in the Paleo Hebrew. That was demonstrated, right? Kind. Let's go to verse 2. Let's go to verse 2. Right? Because we have a whole. Yeah, a whole different thing happening right here. Right? A whole different thing right here. And shall take them. Who is this them here that's being took when we examine this in the language? Right? What's being took? What's actually happening when we examine the language? Right? Walaquawam. So we got let me look at that. And then we go do some parsing. I'm gonna go in some parsing. Hold on. I think that's over here on the side. Let me go get that. Typically kind of what we're doing right now. This isn't the inflected. So anyways, we got walaquawam, right? That we see the root is laqua, which means what? What do we know that means? To go, take, to seize, right? To receive, to what? To conquer, in a sense, right? To have a possession of, right? So and take them, right? So we see what's happening. This is the root we see here is and take them. Right? If we're dealing with the language, you know the language. So you got walaquawam, I'm young, right? Which is what? Peoples, right? What are the peoples taking? Right? Walaquawam. You got walaquawam again, right? Wabayawam. You got wabayawam, right? Wabayawam is going into coming in and going, or to enter, to come, to go, right? Because they're taking the people with them to go, right? Upon or unto, right? So you have isle, kind. And then you got Maquawam, right? Which is the place through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So this is a designated place that's happening. Whole different language than what we seeing happening here. Let me just get back to here too. Right. While okay, here we go. Walaquawam I'm yam. Wahab ya Wahab Yawam all Maquawam, which is right, and taking the people, which is a whole. This isn't the strangers that we've seen in verse 1. This is a whole different class. This is a people, right? And them being taken, what the people, right? While Maquawam, right? We already know what that's going into, right? People being taken, possessed, right? To what? A place, right? Unto, right? Which is isle, Maquawam, right? Which is going into the place or a place that the people are going to. We got Nechal, right? It's important to know when you getting this down, you already know kind of like, all right, Nechal, which is meaning to inherit, to take possession of, more so a property made to possess. This isn't joining to the house of Israel, right? What's that? Wahathanachalwam, right? Wahathanachalwam. This has nothing to do. This word right here, this word has nothing to do with joining to the house of Israel. This language is literally have everything to do with being a possession. Bayath Yasharal, Isle, right? To what? The house of Israel, right? This is clear, right? In in there. Upon something, what? Adam Thumb, right? What Adam Tha, right? This is the earth, right? So you got Waha, it's like it. You got Watha Nachal Wam, right? The root word is here. So you got Wahatha Nachal Wam Bayath Yashar. Salakia, I'm trying to do it. Yasharal Isle Adam Tha, right? Which is the earth. Yahweh, right? La. So you have like two or toward or for, right? That's what this is dealing with. Abidium, right? This is to serve. This is the plural, right? This is the plural sense. This is them, or dealing also with that what? Water, a multitude of people for servants, right? This has nothing to do with joining to the house of Israel. No stretch for the imagination. That's not what this is talking about, right? And just going through this language and going through the Hebrew, this is absolute made clear. That's not what this is talking about. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, it's clear. We're looking at it right here in the text. Khan, everybody understand that? That's not what this is talking about. And then we're going to see what? The word for servants and handmaids is going to be a house servant and handmaid. How do we know that? Well, what is the so like it, the root shapach, right? Shapach going into servant, right? Right? Servants, right? That's what that's going into. And for servants. Wahayawa, right? Look. Wahayawa Shabayam, right? Now this is interesting, right? Because we see captives, right? That word Shabah means captive, not Shabar, but Shabah. Shabah is going into captive, lead captive, to be captives. Shabayam, right? We know this is the plural sense, right? This is the root, Shabayam, right? That's so interesting. Now when we're dealing with the next one, right? La Shabayam, right? And for that dominion, right? Servants, handmaids, right? And for that dominion. La Shabayam. You see that? La Shahabayam, right? And you in one of these contexts, you're dealing with the slave woman and the slave girl. Right? As captives. Khan. Wadara. When you go into the word Waradawa. Waradawa is going into and, this is the conjunction, and Radah, right? Then you have that wa there going into what? Servants, handmaids, down into Waradawa, dominion, treading down, to literally be subjugated. This isn't the same language that we've seen in Isaiah 14 and 1. We didn't see that there, now did we? Did we see that in Isaiah 14 and 1? I don't remember seeing that through the spirit of power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And I know some of y'all, neither do none of y'all either. Right? I didn't see that. Right? Bagah, so we have Bangah Shayam, right? Bagah Shayam, right? The Lord is going to have mercy on Jacob, right? And they're going to rule over their oppressors, right? I'm going to tell y'all something. There's no way that when we deal with the oppressors of the Israelites, okay, that these are people in any chance stretch from the imagination cleaving, okay, to the house of Jacob to press. Are you going to be pressing people that's freely cleaving to you? No. Right? Drive, oppress, extract, right? Demanding pressure. Do that taskmaster ruler. That there's no way through the spirit of power Yahweh Shem Yahushua that these people are Israelites. I'm just sorry. That's not what the Hebrew says. It's not what the text saying. I was gonna do some more parsing, but I don't really think I need any more anything else after that. I just needed to bring out this information. Just looking at it plainly, it didn't say what Elder Tahar said in No Stretch Form of the Imagination. I mean, even when you look at the word, the whole verbiage in the rule of dominion and two, Waradawa, right? We see a continuation of bondage, slavery right here going on, right? Then we get and, which is we see that's continuing. Then Radah, right, which is going into head and authorityship. We know that, right? And then you got to press to subdue. That's what this is going into right here, right? And this is the exercise action, which is the was. This is where you got wa radawa, right? Because the exercise action is being led right here at the end of this. Anybody that knows Hebrew will know this to be a fact, right? This is literally going into tread down, right? To dominate, right? Like, what are we talking about? This is only used for kings and conquerors and rulers. This is never a covenantal what is that word that I'm looking for? Inclusion, right? This isn't covenantal inclusion. That's in verse covenant. We see the covenantal inclusion in verse 1. This is why people say in verse 1 is some people saying it's Israelites, some people saying it's strangers. But if you're not getting to the Hebrew, you wouldn't know these things to be able to make a clear determination in the distinction through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. It's really evident and it's clear on what's happening, right? The grammar, right? When you deal with Hebrew grammar, it will not let you merge these two groups together, right? One of these up here up top, right? When we see a new, right? When we see in that new, and how some of these things aren't happening in another grammar context, like when you see the ma, when you see those things happening and granted, like I'm gonna have to do another series so we can break those things down in context so I can understand the differentiation. When we see certain things happening, like we see a new happening, a new happening, um, with what's occurring and what's never occurring, and what's joining, right, and what never occurs, right? What dominion has, what the verb implies, what the covenant joiners look like. These things are important, right? And when we don't see certain things happening in grammar and in syntax, uh, and when I'm saying in syntax, I'm talking about what's what basically is giving you the information in the context on what's happening in that thing. If we don't have a good grip of a context of in context of what we're seeing, then we ain't gonna understand it, right? That's why I said they like like certain, like for an example. Hold on, let me see. Kai Yeracham Yahweh. Right, right, right. When we see this join in here, when we see a new in here, hold on, let me get that right here. Wow. So when we see certain things like that, right? Certain things is capturing certain things, right? What this can't say is enslaved, captured, ruled, dominated, right? Because the new place is the subject inside of the state. So the subject of what's happening is placed inside of the state of the people that's joining, right? And this isn't under an act of or hardcore bondage, right? Or rulership. That's just impossible. That's why you got to know what's active, like if it's in the fall or if it's an active qual, right? And you get these type of verbiage points when you just study the language, right? Because that's not the Hebrew stem that we see cognitive um, in this state right here. When we examine this first chapter, and I already broke that down and explained that to y'all. Nothing is forced right here, right? Nothing. We don't see nothing seized, grasped. We don't see control or anything like that. So it's important to get into this language. I guess I'll do a part two on this through the spirit and power Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. But with that, I'm gonna say Kahala Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai Shalom.